you don't think it'll happen to you, or like you don't know how severe it could be. Like I didn't know. Like we don't learn about the brain or concussions growing up, and even as athletes, you're not given like any education about it. It's kind of like the black sheep in the room, right? Like it's just like nobody talk about it. Like nobody talk about it, but then that's the whole thing. It's like you just suffer silently and alone.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. This week, we have a super amazing guest that you're going to love. But first of all, we want to shout out and give thanks to the Venetian Resort Las Vegas for hosting us here in their amazing and beautiful poker room. And shout out and spotlight co-host David Meltzer, the most amazing mind in the entrepreneurial space today.
Well, there's an overstatement, but thank you. I like it.
Here.
You need to con my wife somehow into those great platitudes.
I'm working on it.
I will tell you that Kelsey's amazing, and I've been working for so long in the space that she's in now today in protecting our most valuable asset, the $1 trillion computer that God's given us, our brains, and working in sports for so many years, I've seen the advancement. I've worked with this Sports Concussion Institute with Tony Strickland, UCLA, Julian Bales. Obviously in football, protecting the brain has been an amazing thing. And snowboarding and other sports don't get quite the publicity that football does.
No, they don't. It's definitely like a silent like epidemic in the action sports realm. And that's kind of like why we're here, is trying to shift the needle of, like, let's talk about this. Let's normalize this. You know, we all have a brain and we all get one brain. So how can we take care of it together?
It's so smart.
Well, we start to hear a lot of information about CTE, about being a lot more mindful about, especially in our youth.
All right,
Yeah.
players and dealers,
Also,
we're our high-end
in
giveaway
our
from
professional
Van
athletes
Previous
as well.
one.
We get a ton of information from our medical world. Usually what we're hearing is from a lot of medical providers explaining to us the drawbacks or the negatives and why we need to be mindful. But you, on the other hand, you're here in the capacity as being an athlete and having lived through this. Tell us your story and why you became so passionate about the topic.
Yeah, I feel like anytime like I tell anyone my story, they're like, that happened to you? And I'm like, it did. Like, you wouldn't know it, right? But yeah, so in like, what is time? In 2016, I was, had the goal of becoming a professional slopestyle snowboarder, going to the Olympics for USA. And I was trying to climb the Olympic ladder. And during that, I had too many head injuries in a short amount of time. And, doctors left it go. They just said, you're fine, even though I was showing so many red flags of symptoms. But one fall pretty much like broke my brain open, went 2 weeks with a bleeding brain. Again, nobody caught it. 5 doctors said, you're fine, you're good. And then luckily my friends knew what to look out for. I was showing red flags and they forced me into the emergency room. And, the nurse was just like, you seem fine, but we'll take a CAT scan just in case. And then she came back in and was like, your brain has shifted 11 millimeters. You wouldn't survive another night.
Oh.
Like, you have a guardian angel, and now you're on your way for immediate brain surgery.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
And being in the space for so long, a lot of people are confused about concussions.
Yeah.
And obviously football does get the brunt of the concussion research and funding. But it also gets the negative side of how dangerous that sport is when there's a lot of variables involved, like repetitive pounding, which happens in snowboarding and skateboarding, and just small little bumps and bruises that we don't think about, or shaking of the head is more dangerous than actually one hit. How important is it today with the technology that exists to have a baseline test? So I require my son plays football, and we have a baseline, and so that's the only injury that I look at. Look, if he hurts his knee and he wants to keep playing, I really don't care.
Yeah.
Because I understand what can happen and how you fix a knee And if he's playing on a tendon, well, that's his choice, and we'll fix it.
Yeah.
And he'll be
Yeah.
able to be fine when he's old. But when it comes to the brain, he knows that anything, there's no toughness in, Dad, I feel dizzy, or that was just a hard hit, even though I feel fine, you're out.
Yeah.
And then let's go test and wait till you get back to baseline.
For sure.
How important is that?
Oh, it's critical. I feel like for any athlete, and I never really did it prior to my head, but baseline testing is so important because, yeah, it's like you want to know where you're at so you can go do your sport at an elite level. And then you just like have that baseline. Like, oh, I hit my head. Did something happen? Did something not happen? Let's go check. You know, like
Because recovery is the most important thing, right? It
Yes.
doesn't, the major damage happen because it's not just one injury. It's
Yep.
one injury and then you didn't let it heal.
Yep.
And then another one that can create a deadly situation.
Oh, yeah. And you don't know. And that's like the most
And how'd yours
wild
happen,
thing.
by the way?
How did it happen?
Yeah, like, was it one or was it multiple?
It was repetitive.
Yeah, see, and that's what people need to know.
Yes, it was probably like 7 over like a 2-month period. And they were like micro hits, right? Like it was just like little, I tipped over, hit my head. Like none of them were really like that bad, like in theory to me. But yeah, as an athlete, you just are like, I push through, I keep going. That's like the culture, right? Like I have a goal, we get there. And when you do hit your head, it does knock you out of whack a little bit of like your own judgment for yourself, where it was like, I didn't think anything was wrong, but my friends were like, oh no, like you were just tipping over snowboarding, which like you don't do. Like equilibrium was off. So yeah, it's like, it is definitely just like repetitive hits. They do accrue, even if you think they're not. And yeah, like I learned the hard way. And like, I mean, that's like why we do what we do today with the nonprofit. Like, I'm just like, educate yourself, because like it's about saving your brain, saving your friend's brain. Like it's a stranger's. Like,
Yeah, and friends can see that, right?
yeah.
Well, yeah, that was, I was going to say, you were very lucky and fortunate that your friends picked up these little red flags. One, what were some of the things that they were noticing that, you know, we would probably want to be mindful ourselves, especially if we have a friend or a loved one who was participating in any sort of activity that might bring on this risk? Two, why did all of the medical providers not see the red flags? It was your untrained friends that were picking this up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, I think about it to this day. I'm like, wow, those people almost killed me, you know? And like my friends literally saved my life, and they're like, don't, like, it's good. We just did it. You know, we love you. And they're like, don't make it weird. I'm like, you saved my life, you know? And it's, yeah,
Don't make it weird.
Yeah, don't make it weird. I'm like, you saved my life.
Hey,
They're like, you
I'm
did.
fine with you being weird about saving my life, Sean.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Yeah, like,
Save
it's
your
like,
life.
let's normalize saving lives, you know? And,
Yes.
but yeah, I think it's just like, wait a second. I'm like, where was your...
You know, one sign of concussions
Oh,
is
the
losing
signs,
your
the
train
signs.
of thought.
Yes.
Yeah. I still suffer. suffer. I'm showing symptoms.
Hey, I'll take you after the
I'm
interview.
showing
I'm
symptoms.
a friend.
No,
Can we go check
literally.
out together?
It's because I'm in Vegas. I'm like all thrown off. You know, I was out till 1 a.m. just like.
There's another type of concussion. It's called a
play
hangover.
Buffalo. No. I didn't drink at all.
Okay,
We
good.
got in at 11 and was like, I'm in Vegas. I got to go play slots or something. You know,
Nice.
have
That
the
Buffalo
experience.
one.
I love Buffalo.
Okay.
So that's like, you know, I'm
I'll
like.
be on the Wheel of Fortune.
I'm running on like a little bit of sleep, but no, the signs of a concussion is like, we made a concussion guide on our website actually, and it's like a big like educational portion for us is like, yeah, just like how can we make this like easy, digestible, so like anybody can pick this thing up and like literally check their friend off for red flags, right? So it's like for me, you know, every brain injury is different. It's like a fingerprint, but mine was like I was slurring my words, which I didn't know. I was having like really bad mood swings. Like I will never forget, like poor Melissa over there dealt with me, but like my zipper broke on my jacket, and I remember I like
Lost your stuff.
I like lost it. Yeah, for like 2 hours, and I just like cried, and it was like a whole thing. So like mood swings were bad. I had really bad insomnia. I wasn't sleeping like the 2-week period where my brain was bleeding.
Do you have any depression?
Oh my gosh, yeah. And like even afterwards, like it was worse more than anything. But like, yeah, just like my mood was all over. I had excruciating head pain and ringing in my ears, I was taking like over 1,000 milligrams of ibuprofen
So
or
you're
like
telling
Tylenol.
you're telling us to your medical providers, and they're like, "Don't worry."
They literally,
You're fine.
it was interesting because my fall was pretty like severe, and they were more worried that I like broke my pelvis. So I think they were like, let's, make sure she's okay. But like, even like my friends were like, she's acting weird.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the doctors all were just like, it's probably just post-concussion syndrome. Like, it's nothing to worry about. So it's like, my biggest thing is just like, advocate for yourself. Like, your body better than anybody else, or your friends know you better than that doctor, right? Like, it's like they're doctors, and like, like sometimes they're human and they also make mistakes, but like educating yourself is like critical.
And I think it's not just contact sports, right? And so as we have these active sports that people play that you can fall in, or balls can hit your head, or maybe it's even part of the sports where headers,
Yeah.
and people don't even think about, that constant, like you're a center striker and you may have, 4 headers in one game. And those balls are hard and they're coming
Yeah.
fast. And it's really important. But helmets are something that you help people with as well. And
Yeah.
when I decided to let my son play football, I wanted to make sure I made the investment. And I'm blessed to be able to afford a helmet, but I also, for the team, wanted to make sure they had enough money to have the right helmets.
For sure.
Were you wearing a helmet in your big fall?
I was.
You were, okay.
But it was a skateboarding helmet, so it wasn't certified for snow, and it was definitely years old.
Yeah, helmets have come a long way, and so has the culture of
Yes.
wearing helmets. So maybe at that time, like you were like, I'm just trying to be
Well,
careful,
I'll give you
but
an
like I wasn't
example.
trying to get all the perfect ones.
But Sean, I'll give you examples.
Yeah.
So I do work with Tony Hawk, and we're the same age, from the same place, and been friends, and been on the podcast and TV show. Tony got a ton of shit way back when because he was seen skateboarding with his newborn baby. Now, at that time, culturally, I protected him, and I was like, let me just tell you this about Tony Hawk. Him skateboarding with his baby is safer than me walking with mine. That's how good of a skateboarder he is.
For
And I
sure.
still would tell you that to be true.
Probably than
But
putting
we
your
didn't
baby in a
know any
car.
better. But we didn't know any better what it meant to other people.
Yeah.
That now other people who skateboard think they're as good as Tony Hawk, and so don't wear a skateboard helmet. And
Yes.
now he would never. We didn't know in 2016,
Yeah.
and the helmet sucked. Like, I keep my college football helmet in my son's room so he could see, and he thought it literally is like one of those toys that you buy helmet. That's how bad it is.
He was like, this is a joke,
And
right?
a skateboard helmet in 2016 sucked.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was just like, it was lack of education on my end as well, where I just was like, oh, I have like, just check the box of a helmet. I don't know if it's certified. It was definitely cracked on the inside. You know what I mean? Like, but it was just like, you don't think it'll happen to you. Or like, you don't know how severe it could be. Like, I didn't know. Like, we don't learn about the brain or concussions growing up. And even as athletes, you're not given like any education about it. It's kind of like the black sheep in the room, right? Like, it's just like, nobody talk about it. Like, nobody talk about it, but then that's the whole thing. It's like, you just suffer silently and alone.
Yeah.
And so
Then
you're-
half of the snowboarders are high anyway, so they really can't determine whether or
Action
not.
sports, yeah. Action sports is wild. It's
Especially now that they legalize the shit.
it's a wild industry for sure. Anything goes. Anything goes.
And
I'm always
Caitlin's-
amazed how many
Caitlin's
like
not
football
denying it, so
and
it's okay.
basketball players play high. I'm like, how do you play football high?
I don't even or play music and
Yeah, yeah.
and the pitcher for the Yankees.
Only
the
thing I can
perfect
do
game.
high is eat and sleep.
Well, yeah.
You're like, I'm kind of like a newborn.
You're good at
You
that.
know? Kind of like an
You
infant.
become a newborn.
So your recovery, very frustrating.
Yep.
You felt unsupported. This leads to now today the work that you are doing to bring awareness and also support individuals. Tell us about your passion. Tell us what you're contributing to this whole world of concussions.
Yeah. I mean, never in my life, it's funny when you have like a goal, right? Like, I was just like, my end goal is go to the Olympics. Never in my life did I think this would happen. And now I'm running this like beautiful nonprofit or a business, right? Like, I went to college for exercise science.
Yeah.
Like, never thought I'd be running a business. Started it as a passion because, I was just like, my recovery was so dark and lonely and unknown and I had no education, resources, support, or like community anywhere. And I just was like, this is messed up. So yeah, I looked at my best friends and was like, let's do this. Like, let's start it. And it started as an Instagram account. I was like, I just want to educate my friends. So yeah, Save a Brain started as an Instagram account, and that went on for a year. And in my, like, I'm such a notebook person, and in my notebook I wrote like nonprofit ? Nonprofit ? But was like, I don't know how to start a nonprofit. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy. And then like the doors just started opening, and yeah, we became a 501c3, and now we've been going for 4.5 years as a nonprofit. And never in my life did I also be like, I'm gonna do this full time. Let's fucking do this. Excuse my language, but like, let's fucking
Oh, we just
do
changed
this.
we just changed the rating. I learned about this on the
great.
podcast. It's fine. Yeah,
It's passion. That came from passion.
LFG.
we just went to NC-17. It's good.
But like, yeah, I don't know. It's like, for us, I just kind of was like, there is such a big void in the world. Like, over 3 million head injuries happen every single year
That we
across
know
the
of.
board. Yeah, that we know of, like that are reported, right? And 70% of those people will suffer from anxiety, depression, or suicidal thoughts. And I just was like, no, like that's so wrong. So yeah, we've just been like chipping away at this void, and like we launched during COVID. So that was like the same month. So not only is it running a business without knowing how to run a business during a freaking pandemic, you're just like, great. But yeah, it's just been like a beautiful thing unfolding with like, what programs can we create to help people?
And we're helping people of all levels.
Yep.
Whether not just Olympic athletes, professional athletes, even into the youth.
Yep.
Making sure that we are all properly educated.
Yep.
We know the signs. We know
Yep.
when to ask for help. And we also know the steps that we can do to prevent.
Yes. Yeah, it's just like your brain is such like an asset and like a tool, and it's just like, how can we like keep it healthy? So like, if or when we do hit our head, it's healthy. Like, what can we do after even? You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, there's so much we can do, but just nobody knows. So yeah, we've like just been on the forefront of just like spreading awareness, creating a community, providing resources for people
Donating
after.
helmets to youth
Donating
programs.
helmets. Yeah, we've donated over like 3,000 helmets, and just made our first collab helmet for snow and skate, which is sweet. But yeah, like, we're just like, get helmets on kids. Like, parents can afford a bike, and that bike could save their kid's life, like just like through passion. But a good quality helmet alone is like $150.
Yeah.
And that's sad that like people can't afford those.
There's two sides to brain injuries, concussion management, and you mentioned a lot of like the people that are involved sort of on the research, science, medical side of the realm, and then we have the sort of the advocacy side, people that have lived it, people that
Yeah.
are like, listen, this is what happened to me. How has that marriage been? Do you feel supported now by sort of the medical realm, research realm? Have we managed to bridge that gap and get the two sides to collaborate and work together?
Yeah, I mean, for Save a Brain, yeah. I mean, Save a Brain helped my healing, because yeah, like I couldn't trust doctors and all of these things. And then we have a resources tab on our website that has pretty much trusted clinics for people like in your area. And connecting with those doctors definitely changed my perspective of like, oh, there are people out there that care, and like concussion specialist is their title, and that's everything they know and like devoted their entire life to. So finding the right doctor is critical, where before I didn't even know about a concussion specialist. I just went to my primary care, and they were just like, you're good. Like, we checked your, cholesterol, and I'm just like, what? Like, so yeah, it's like,
What?
it's critical to like, yeah, find those like trusted like facilities and like medical professionals.
From my end, I definitely want to get you connected in on the clinical side into this little known world called upper cervical chiropractic. One of the things that we have been seeing, research has been showing that when there's a misalignment in the top two bones of the neck from some sort of a head injury, this can back up the flow of cerebral spinal fluid.
Yep.
And then cause it's causing the swelling, but it's causing the sort of that long-term inability to sort of return back to normal. And I love to hear that the medical world and scientific world is supporting you. How can people get involved with you, Save a Brain, and help out the cause?
Yeah, I mean, we're growing, and it's been just like such a fun, beautiful ride, and it's been my biggest teacher. But yeah, I just always say, like, if anyone is struggling, like, yeah, find Save a Brain, reach out on Instagram, find our website, like, donate, because yeah, like $40, it gets one helmet on a kid. And we have like all this incredible like in-person programming in the works where people can get involved, but it's just like donate, tell your friends, support the causes you care about, because for us as like a small nonprofit trying to make a big impact, I'm just like, financial support is everything, but also just like people with the same passion wanting to support you too.
I love it. I love it.
Save a brain, save a life. What a great cause. And I love the idea that we don't know our divine direction, and it's sometimes the divine detours. But if our pain is less than our purpose, and your purpose so much greater than the pain that you endured, we end up in that divine time of where we're supposed to be. And I promise you that your impact on the world is much greater than yours as a slope-style snowboarder.
Yeah.
As great as that is, you're saving lives, and that's so important, especially of our youth. So thank you so much.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me. This has been so fun. And yeah, if anyone needs to reach out, like, please feel comfortable reaching out. We'd love to help.
Kelsey Boyer, Save a Brain. Please make sure that you connect with her and the foundation. Get the help that you may need, that your loved ones may need. And if you are well into your pickleball years, like David, then please donate. You can still be a part.
Pickleball, you could have a concussion if you play like I do.
Pickleball guy.
Use ball.
Pickleball man. All right, everybody, that's it for this week. We'll be back again next week with a super duper edition of the podcast. Don't miss it.